Hello and welcome to the AI Summit London. My name is Ruth Duquette and I have the absolute pleasure of being joined by Ankit, Head of Responsible AI, Liberty Specialty Markets. Thank you so much for joining me and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to just deep dive a little bit further in how you landed up at Liberty Specialty Markets. Just take us a little bit of background there.
Yeah, I have been in the space of AI for almost a decade now in different shapes and forms. And I was working with Liberty for some period and then this opportunity came up and then I'm like, I'm going to go for it. It's the right time and it's working really well. And been here for a few months now, really enjoying it, and working in the space of AI is so topical right now.
Jumping right into it, the value gap in AI investments. Many organizations have invested heavily in AI over the past few years, yet leaders are often questioning the return on these investments. Why do you think there's such a big gap?
I think at the moment what's happening is most organizations are thinking about AI as a tool, as a technology, whereas a large component of it is about operating model and change and how people will use it. And that is the biggest gap that I'm seeing with organizations. Leaders are pushing for more AI, which creates a lot of pull rather than push. And you need to make your teams also bring in that journey together with AI adoption. So AI metrics, which are usually measured, are how many people are using it, what's the usage metric, whereas the discussion needs to shift from usage to the value component attached to it. So that's the first piece around AI. The second thing, which I think that organizations are missing the trick, is about how do you completely reimagine and redesign your workflows. AI is such a technology which is not, you just don't slap it on existing processes, because if the process is broken, if the data isn't correct, then you're going to get bad outputs from AI. So thinking about your processes in a very different AI native way is going to bring a totally different value concept from AI.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think there's a common perception as well surrounding AI that governance slows down innovation. However, the work suggests otherwise. Could you shed a little bit of color on that?
So been working in this space for a few years now. I can say governance is usually seen, not just AI, but in general, as a function that says no to everything or slows down innovation. I think that shift needs to happen as well. And I'm very passionate about that, because governance is not here to slow down the innovation. It's to make sure innovation happens in a very responsible fashion. And there are multiple ways to achieve it. We have to become more risk aware, not risk averse. So understanding what are the different risk matrix attached to a particular AI use case, thinking from a low, medium, high risk proportionate perspective. And then you start looking at AI from different angles to those risk proportionality levels. You don't treat AI of a low risk category same as high risk category. And that's where the governance needs to make adjustments and being flexible at the same time. You don't apply same controls, same review methods, same accountabilities to different kind of AI levels. And that's what I have been driving with my organization, to think about how can we change our thinking on governance on those concepts.
That makes sense. A specific challenge for organization is moving from promising AI experiments to then a scalable, production-ready solution. Why do so many initiatives get stuck in pilot stage, and what strategies can help bridge this gap?
Yeah, I think a lot of organizations now are understanding how difficult it is to take AI from experimentation to full scale. A few reasons being, there was such a hype cycle about, we want to do AI, let's get new LLMs in-house and start experimenting with it, which worked during the hype cycle. Now the realization happening of how much it costs, the token cost and associated things with that. And that's where the shift is happening to, what is the business value of doing this particular project? What's our cost savings? What's the revenue that we are generating from this? And I think a lot of organizations they have also started measuring the tokens they're spending on AI usage. So slowly understanding the business aspect of it, the governance aspect, which I discussed in the previous question, and the last one is again the adoption and the operating model change. So that shift from just putting technology out there is not going to make a real change in the production scaled environment. So having those three concepts together of having your ideation engine running making sure your governance is flexible. You prototype really fast. Traditionally, most technology solutions have been, we'll write our business requirements, we'll get some vendor in to do big projects, and then we'll deliver the outcome. The pace of AI is so transformative and so fast, you don't really have to wait to write a product requirements document, for example. So prototype fast, deliver fast, make sure you bring your people on the journey, and yeah, keep ideating, keep experimenting.
And building on that, even the most advanced AI tools, are effective if people don't trust or adopt them. What are the key factors in driving adoption and building trust in these AI systems?
Yeah, I think being very transparent about we are using AI in the space, and that transparency goes not just for the customers of organization, but also for the employees and the users who are using it. So being very transparent how AI is used, how their data is used in AI, and what decisions we are building around AI. So that's the first aspect. The second aspect is people who are using AI in their daily workflows and activities, they should be trained enough to understand where AI is bringing the value, how they should look at an output created from AI, and how that will change their decision-making process during the whole end-to-end process of whatever they are working on. That transparency is really important. And then secondly, it's your understanding data. Because if your data is not in the right shape and format, that will bring incorrect outputs from AI. So that builds trust within the organization and within your users and your communities, and making sure you do the constant communication and change around what AI is doing, how we are adopting it. So I think those are the few things that organizations can think about.
You were on a session focused on how persistent memory can improve AI reliability and decision quality. Could you elaborate on how the organizational memory enhances AI trustworthiness and visibility, and what the role of governance and privacy can play in this?
Yeah, the session was really interesting. I was talking about in late 2010s, data was the main moat. Everybody was talking about data. In the world of AI, I think it's memory, because AI is reliant on memory, especially when we talk about agentic AI, and which is the new rage right now. Agentic AI depends on how memory is getting used, how memory is getting constantly updated, and how that feedback loop, when an outcome is generated, feeds back into that memory to create the next iteration of products and customer interactions. So memory is going to be the new mode for organizations, that they have to start thinking about how they structure a memory, how they store a memory, what controls and mitigations around there to make sure memory is only relevant when it's needed. It's time to value, to bring value to the organization. Do we have enough right controls from different departments like privacy and compliance? So for me, I think memory is the next frontier, and it's both for the innovation case, but also for the governance. And most organizations right now is just thinking about the one side of that coin, which is the innovation, but they are not really focusing on the governance around it. And I think that's where the discussion should shift, and it should be both-sided.
And beyond governments, what do you think that leaders should be preparing for next to kind of stay ahead of the curve?
I think the technology is moving much faster than what organizations are really changing internally. From a technology and innovation side, we are talking about sovereign AI. We are talking about physical AI that can understand your environments. Obviously, agentic AI is more mainstream right now, where companies are thinking about that. Those are the technology trends which I see for the next 12 months to be evolving, as more and more companies want to bring AI in-house and LLMs in-house. Then on the other side, which is more organizational changes, I think companies need to focus more on operating model changes and reimagining processes, like I mentioned, looking at their change programs and how they bring their people together. I would say that's the next thing that leaders should focus on, apart from the technology trends change.
Makes sense. Well, look, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for the insights as well. Thank you for watching. My name is Mary Ducate, and this has been the AI Summit London.